For a few years now, most self-proclaimed gurus on the internet will tell you to
start a dropshipping business today.
Starting a successful dropshipping store.
Start dropshipping in 2022.
Start a dropshipping business. However, what they fail to mention is that the sheer amount of competition in that industry makes it extremely difficult, if not almost impossible, to turn a profit as a small business. Now, this is why before you start any business, you are advised to use Porter's 5 forces to analyze the industry that you are getting into to make sure that it is profitable.
Show me the money!
Now, in today's video, we're going to be going over each of Porter's 5 forces, what they are, and how you can leverage them to make informed decisions for your business. Now make sure to keep watching, as there's going to be a special bonus tip right at the end just for you.
You shouldn't have.
Now, Porter's 5 forces is a framework for analysing the level of competition within an industry. It uses industrial organisation economics to present 5 forces that determine the competitive intensity and subsequently how attractive an industry is. Now, attractiveness in this particular context refers to the overall industry profitability. An unattractive industry is one where you can't make that much profit, while on the other hand, a very attractive industry would be one with high overall profitability. So, what exactly are these 5 forces? Now, number 1, competition in the industry. Now, the first force is the level of competition in the industry already. The more competitors there are, the more unattractive your industry becomes. Now, examples of highly competitive markets include food manufacturing, consumer electronics, and low-cost airlines. In these industries, many large corporations compete for market share by lowering prices and trying to offer a better product or service than their competitors. This makes it hard for anyone looking to start a business because they will be going up against companies that have much larger marketing budgets and contact lists, in addition to practically infinite supply of cheap labour and manufacturing equipment to help drive their costs down. Now, number 2, the threat of new entrants. Now, this one analyses how easy it is to enter into an industry. The main factors that affects this particular force is called barrier to entry, which is the amount of capital or knowledge that you would need to start and sustain a profitable business. Now, if the barrier to entry is low, then you will have tons of new people coming into the industry, which, as you can guess, drives up competition and reduces profits. Take dropshipping. For example, you don't need a lot of money to start. With a few $100s, you can source your products and start advertising straight away. Now, this is why it is so difficult to make money, because there is always someone new on the block. Now, to use this force when making a business decision, first consider how much capital would be required to start the business that competes with existing businesses within your industry. Now, if that figure is easily accessible to most people, then ask yourself this question: does entry require specialist knowledge about an industry's processes and procedures? Now, if the answer is yes, there will probably be high barriers to entry, which would make it harder for new businesses to grow rapidly enough to threaten existing competitors. On the other hand, if your answer is no, then you might need to start reconsidering your options because you are going to have so much competition. Now, number 3, the power of suppliers. Now, this force looks at how much power suppliers hold over their customers. Now, this depends primarily on 2 things. Now, the bargaining power of each individual supplier and how many suppliers exist in total. Now, the more suppliers there are, the less power they actually have as they compete amongst themselves to attract business from you. On the other hand, if there is only one supplier who holds all of the bargaining power, then they can make demands that are very unfavourable to you. So, when making a business decision, ask yourself whether your industry relies on many suppliers or not. If it does, try to determine what number of suppliers that there actually are in total and how much each one can influence you. The more suppliers there are, the lesser the amount of influence that each supplier has over you, which is ultimately better for you. Now, number 4, the power of buyers. Now, this force looks at how much power buyers hold over sellers. Now, it determines what kind of payment terms are acceptable for customers within an industry. So this depends primarily on 2 things: how many buyers exist in total and how big they are relative to individual sellers. The more buyers there are, the less power they actually have as they compete amongst themselves to get the best products. Conversely, the larger a buyer is relative to a seller, the higher their bargaining powers become. So, as a business, you really need to consider how many buyers exist in total and whether or not you can influence them all or they have an advantage over you. If there's only one buyer who is big enough to be demanding, then that is a big issue. Now, number 5, the threat of substitute products or services. Now, this force analyses competition from outside the industry that provides similar services or products which compete with yours. So you need to determine how many substitute products or services are available to customers within your industry, as well as how different yours are from those substitutes. If there are many substitutes readily available, it is going to be harder for you to convince customers that your product or service is better than the alternatives. Now, that's why many businesses try to build strong brand equity through adverts, promotions, and good customer service. Now, think about a company like Apple. They've built their ecosystem so tightly and controlled that every single process of construction makes it so difficult for you to pick a substitute product. Now, yes, there are tons of great Android phones out there, but if you are already locked into things like iMessage and FaceTime, you are almost always going to get an iPhone, even if the alternatives are equally great. The more difficult it is for customers to find substitutes, the easier time you will have convincing them that your product or service is worth more than what they would normally pay. Now, for this analysis to really work for you, you need to take down detailed notes. Answer each question thoughtfully and gather enough information about an industry before jumping in. By keeping track of your answers along with other industry research, you will be able to discover relevant information that will shape how well your business fares in certain areas. Now, if you've been enjoying the video so far,
What do you think of it so far? Rubbish!
please let me know by clicking the like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and turn on that bell notification. Now for that bonus tip. Okay, so there are often times where you have to take into account individual circumstances within an industry that can't be generalised with something like Porter's 5 forces. Now remember that this is just one method of one of the many out there for analysing how well your business will do in different areas. It helps you understand how much power various factors hold over your company, but it can't tell you what the best business decision is, because only you truly understand the unique circumstance that your business is in. In the end, it is only a tool to provide you with information, not the decision maker. Always remember that you are still the one who gets to decide what direction your business takes.
Who's in charge here?
And that is all for this week. I hope some of you have found this helpful or educational, or maybe even entertaining. Let me know in the comments what you would like me to cover in a video next, or if there's anything that you think I might have missed. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye bye.